All right, so how much muscle do you actually lose on Retatrutide? This is probably the third video I've made on this just because it's such a misconception, and I'm going to make this one short. You're not really losing that much. You know, the major misconception, you'll hear it from your doctors, you'll hear it online, you'll see it when you're reading about it, that maybe 40 to 45% of, or maybe, a little lower, 30% of your weight that you lose comes from muscle. That is not true. The reason is, when they did these clinical trials, they had the participants do a before and after DEXA scan. A DEXA scan shows body fat percentage and lean mass percentage. Now, lean mass is not just muscle mass. Okay, lean mass is glycogen, water, and organs and other soft tissues, right? And muscle mass, skeletal muscle. But there's no way to actually see what percentage of all of those is in that number that is deemed lean mass. So when they do the study and there's like the 30% of the weight that's lost comes from lean mass, people who don't think will say that's 30% from muscle mass. And that's not true. For every gram of glycogen, there's 3 to 4 grams of water attached to it. So when you lose glycogen, you're losing 3 to 4 grams of water, which adds up. And that's why a lot of people will lose 10 pounds in a week from being on GLP-1. They're like, oh my gosh, like, well, do you think you lost 10 pounds of muscle? No. You lost 10 pounds of water weight, okay? And the more fat tissue you have on your body, the more water you're holding on to, okay? So just remember that that's what's actually going on. You're losing a lot of water weight, a lot of glycogen, barely any muscle. And that's a good thing. Now, if you want to preserve muscle, you can do some type of resistance training, and you can eat protein. Those are the best buffers against losing any muscle. But don't be lied to, okay? And look, your doctor barely knows what they're talking about. They read a little bit. They don't make that distinction, lean mass and muscle mass. They don't make the distinction because they don't want to spend that much time thinking about it. I mean, look, I've heard so many doctors say this. Make this mistake. And you just, if you want to stand there and argue with them, go ahead, but like it doesn't help. But just remember that's the real issue. You're not losing that much muscle mass, if any. I'm starting a community to help people on their Retatrutide or Tirzepatide or Semaglutide journey, because most people out there need some guidance on how to cook food now. How to track their food, because they don't want to plateau. Everybody plateaus on GLP-1. We don't want to plateau, right? You want to continually lose body fat. That's the whole goal. You don't want to stay on GLP-1s and just like stay on it forever and not lose body fat. Like, what's the point? So you have to start doing things that that people who lose body fat have to do, such as bodybuilders, fighters, boxers, MMA fighters. When they lose weight, guess what they do? They track their calories. When they're losing weight for a fight or for a stage competition as a bodybuilder, they are tracking their calories religiously because you have to. That's the only way you can lose weight. You can lose body fat. Body fat is by being in a caloric deficit. That's the only way. A lot of people have never done that before. And then a lot of people who teach it make it a little bit more complicated than it should be. So I've been doing this for a long time for myself. I've been a trainer for a long time. And I make it easy for myself. So hopefully I can teach you guys that. I want to start a community. And and start helping people on their journeys. Because there's like I said, too many people, everyone I come into contact with who's been on GLP-1 end up plateauing and then just staying on it for like a year and not getting any benefit from it. So that's what we're gonna do and move forward from there.